Okay, so we have arrived at the final no item run of the bunch here with the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will event. We have done Vegito on the live stream, we have done Zamasu on the video that you guys saw earlier yesterday, and this is now the Trunks stage. So the Fusion Zamasu, Red Zone, all of the red zones for the celebration are done. All of the, what else do we have? All of the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will no items are done, and we are all set to go. So we are all caught up on the no item runs that I am concerned with after completing this one. With this having unlimited attempts, it makes it much easier to go ahead and get it within the first couple of days. What scared me with the Zamasu one was the fact that we did not have unlimited attempts on that, right? So this gameplay ends up being pretty good, I'd say. The run goes pretty smooth. Never really a true panic moment. Again, everything is kind of like in our control in terms of the dodging that we have. We never really get a great rotation with the blue boys, unfortunately, because, you know, they just have to essentially camp slot 3 in this event just because Trunks hits so hard in the beginning, right? You are sort of confined to keeping him in keeping both of them at slot 3 at all times for their dodge capabilities. And then obviously on turn 4 and turn 5 respectively, whenever they do pop out, they both have their guaranteed dodges, right? So, you know, that's kind of just how it ends up working out with the blue boys, but it is fairly efficient. So, you know, it is what it is. Unfortunately, with the team build that we have, we did have to go with the good old-fashioned double superhero, the double orange Piccolo strat. I don't really see too much shame in doing that, especially considering how hard these events are these days and how hard they hit in the beginning and whatnot. What ends up being a little bit tricky, and you guys are going to see this is not a great showing from the blue boys, right? This is like, I don't have their links in a good spot. They are not on a 200% here. Like, this is not going to be an impressive showing from these two, right? You can see 2.4 at 55%. You are really struggling with them sometimes when it comes to the attack stats, the defensive stats. But again, one thing that's important is if they do take a normal, they have guard, and if they, and also in slot 1, they have the dodge chance. So they are more of a defensive play here than they are offensive, and hence why we have to keep them in slot 1, because I cannot afford to risk putting them in slot 2 where they could potentially take a lot of damage and whatnot. So, you know, obviously we are going to keep them in a safe position. So ignore the attack stats, call them frauds all you want, but here they are doing just fine. Of course, right here they take 3 hits, but then on the super, guess what, buddy? Nope. So I'll take 180k HP on a turn any day because we can heal that right back. And all in all, it's not too bad, right? As long as you dodge the important ones, then you're good in my book. So you'll see later, though, they make up for it. Like, it's not the end of the world, guys. They just took a couple normals, all right? When you have 700k HP, you can afford to take a couple normals. It'll be all right, I promise. So that ends up being the end result of that turn. You know, a little bit more HP than I would have liked to have. Like, you know, in an ideal world, they dodge all those attacks, right? But usually you can't have that. So again, here we have a nice Piccolo rotation set up now, so we can look really solid against this Trunks. It's kind of unfortunate here that I have to throw and take the Int Orb, because we just, like, the Gohan 24 key is so essential with that unit that I could not afford to let that opportunity slip, right? I was like, you know what, it's fine. I'm going to take the orbs with Gohan, and we will be ready to go. So that's what we end up doing, and it works out in our favor, I'd say. 18k right there from a normal, built up real quick. We're back to double digits from the normals. We're good to go. An additional from Piccolo here will definitely help, and that ends up being what happens. So, you know, when we get that specific situation for us, it ends up working out pretty well. But all in all, here we go. Boom. All right, so now 10 million from our buddy Gohan. That's a pretty good attack stat, I would say, especially at the 69% level. So boom, there we go. Go ahead and get that quick hit in, and then we get an additional for 8.4. Again, a pretty good attack stat there for a 12 key. Not the best links in the world, but a pretty good situation for him, right? Slot 3 still has his guard, and then an additional super for over 10 million, almost 11 million. So that is pretty good, right? That dupe ends up doing wonders for you sometimes. So boom, there we go, and we get a crit. So now he's at about half HP going into the physical turn. So now it gets real, right? This is where it's not going to be as easy, because we do gain type neutrality with Piccolo rather than type disadvantage, but we also gain type advantage over this Gohan, or this Trunks with Gogeta, right? So right here, you know, we kind of have to play it by ear, and I believe, I think we save orange right here, if I'm not mistaken, because it's like we're banking on dodge chance in slot 1, and we're also banking on the guaranteed dodges in slot 3. So it's like if Piccolo takes a super, I can live with that. It's probably going to hit for 400, 500k, and then we'll be able to go ahead on the next turn and be just fine. So right there, again, the blue boys not showing their attack prowess there. Sorry, my phone went to 20% battery, but the blue boys not showing their offensive colors there. Not the best attack stat I've ever seen, but it'll work, I promise. that, like, you know, they're slowly building. They're doing their thing. They're not getting us killed right now, even though they have taken like a combined like almost 300k at this point. That's why you bring this team, so you can kind of heal it back. And that's the overall game plan here. It's just we kind of slow play it, and then eventually when we get to the orange phase, we use that. We take advantage of STR Piccolo being as good as he is, and we move from there. So right here, you guys can see we are at 86,000 HP. Again, not a great spot whatsoever, but Gogeta is going to go ahead and do his thing, get some big boy damage in there. And again, not a great setup for him whatsoever, but I could have linked him up with the blue boys and it would have been fine. But again, the blue boys in slot 2 would have meant a certain demise. And I did not want to float off Piccolo because that orange mode is way too valuable, so whenever we are able to get it, I did not want to waste it, right? So Gogeta's doing his thing in slot 3. We'll take that for sure, getting all the damage in that we need to get before we move on to the next turn. So boom, there we go. And then we also have guaranteed dodges right here. I took a lot of HP right here, but now we have more guaranteed dodges with VEGITO Blue. And I forget if we use an orange now or we wait for later. I think we use it now. If we even have it. No, we don't have it. That's right. So we get the heal up with the STR orbs right here. And that brings us back up to about 200k. And then I'm thinking, like, you know what? STR Piccolo will be fine if he takes a super. But I'm trying to manipulate the orbs right here to the point where I could get like a decent attack stat in with VEGITO, but it doesn't really work out the way that I wanted it to. And then right here, we're taking 37k with type advantage, which is not great, but it's all about just getting out of this initial phase right here and then hoping that the super is in slot 3, because we know if that super is in slot 3, it is smooth sailing because VEGITO cannot, like, he can take those, right? So again, it's going to be one hit right here, and if we don't get hit with a super right here, we are on to the next turn. We are good to go because we'll have orange mode, and we'll also potentially have the heal up as well. The full heal that you can get with Piccolo is also very clutch. So right there, the fade to black is always suspenseful because you don't know if it's going to be Trunks hitting you with the super or it's you hitting hitting the super on Trunks, right? So again, big boy play right here, 2.8. We take the normal, no guard. We're fine. We're good. We're ready to go. VEGITO Blue's attack stat is not impressive here whatsoever, but we are going to get a couple consistent supers, maybe a crit or two in, and we'll be able to move on to the next turn. And that is basically like this, the whole idea of the run, right? So boom, there we go, 2.4. And the orange mode that we do in this run, it puts in work, let me tell you. It is a doozy. We do a lot of damage with the orange mode in this specific run. So we got the blue boys coming up, we have Piccolo coming up, and then we also have Beast Gohan coming up. So yeah, we have the active skill with VEGITO, we have Beast Gohan, so we wanted to go ahead and fuse into VEGITO, do his active skill, so we have the guaranteed dodges in slot 1, put Beast in slot 2, do his active skill to get the attack break, and then we're going to reshape the battlefield as well as take away Trunks' ability to super with our boy Orange Piccolo. So that's kind of the whole idea behind this run, right? So we just took like half a health bar right there. We'll take that, we put Piccolo in the middle, make sure he has the highest possible attack stat, the most links active. I don't even know if he gains an extra link with VEGITO, but I'm like, you know what? It's the safest play, right? So the one thing I was nervous about on this was if I did this, would this reset VEGITO's guaranteed dodge? Like, should I have waited till after orange to fuse? And ultimately, what's the one thing I always say in my videos? If you guys watch, you know what I say. You're watching this, so whatever I did worked, right? But again, I was kind of scared because I'm like, what if I go into Orange Piccolo and then VEGITO loses his guaranteed dodge, right? Because that's like a pretty big deal. That guaranteed dodge is like a huge play in terms of like just that slot 1 safety net. Because I mean, this guy's gonna hit pretty hard, right? Like that Trunks is not a pushover. He hits hard, right? Even in slot 1, like 300k defense, like no guard, no damage reduction, that is going to hit you pretty damn hard. And so I wasn't feeling very safe with that, but the dodge did still end up going through, so that's good, because it's like kind of confusing, right? Because it's like it kind of resets the turn, but kind of doesn't. And again, like you guys are going to see, Orange Piccolo does a pretty good amount of work here. Like we take down a whole health bar here. So like, you know, we go into the next version, the next phase, and not even the next phase, the next turn, and all we have to do is take out like 3/4 of a health bar at this point. So I'm feeling really good about where this run is at, especially with VEGITO's dodging, VEGITO being in slot 1. You know you're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6 supers or whatever you can get with a 55% unit is pretty wild. So that's pretty exciting. And now we're pretty much on cruise control at this point. What I'm trying to do is manipulate the orbs just a little bit, even though it's on auto mode. I want to make sure that the orbs kind of played out to our favor right there, and they did, because VEGITO is going to be able to get 4 orbs, and that'll be more than enough to get the 18 key at the very least. And now he'll be able to just do whatever amount of supers he needs to do, and he will be gaming, and we will be smoothly sailing towards the no item run. So very good team for this. Orange Piccolo is still on that totem pole. I mean, to me, he's the third unit. He's the third best unit in the game at worst. So he's like number 3 at his worst, in my opinion, right now. Like, what are you supposed to do against a unit? Like, I think Goresh said it really well. He literally nullifies the game. And this right here, it's just a kit. Like a kit alone is very, very hard to top what this is doing right here, right? Think about the amount of damage we've done to this this Trunks in Orange Piccolo, right? Like, I think he started with like 3 bars of health, and now he's basically dead. And also, by the way, we're taking your supers. Oh, by the way, if you have an AoE, we take that too. It's like, oh, when we get out of this turn, by the way, my slot 1 unit, yeah, he has guaranteed dodge. And he's going to do 5 supers, or however many supers he's going to do, right? So, you know, this team is just an absolute wagon. It's a powerhouse, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're also going to heal up a decent bit from these tech orbs. So it's like, in case you did land a hit somehow, it's also not going to one-shot me. And then Beast is kind of doing his thing. He's just gaming over there. So, we're going to go ahead and let Vegito send us out here with however many supers he needs to do to get the job done. But that was the no item run for the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will stage against Trunks. Finally managing to finish up all these no item runs for the Worldwide Download Celebration content, assuming a part EX does not give us a fight that we need to no item run. And it's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, don't have all the new units to show off for you guys in these fights, but with time, we'll secure future Gohan, we'll eventually get Trunks, we'll eventually get Bulma, and we'll get all that fun stuff. We'll get LR Zamasu. It's always a matter of time with these gacha games. So let me know what you guys think of the run down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video. And of course, we have to finish this with the normal. And subscribe if you guys are new. Don't forget to turn on notifications as well so you don't miss out on any of the Dokkan Battle content that I do. We're going to be continuing strong after the Worldwide Download Celebration. So don't go anywhere when the celebration's over, because we will still be here. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.